What's up everybody and welcome back to another episode of 5 cool mods for Skyrim Special Edition. It has been quite a while since the last episode of the series. I've been doing some other series in between, but now we are back with 5 really cool mods for Skyrim. We've been getting a ton of good releases recently, and actually a lot more polished mods have been coming out. There's definitely a trend upwards towards the kind of polished look rather than before we were getting a lot more smaller and simpler mods. Regardless, with all that being said, if you guys do enjoy the series, I really encourage you to consider subscribing, but with all that, let's just jump right into it. So first we do have the Dreadnought armor. So this is actually going to be a pretty cool armor, basically being a combination between some steel pieces as well as it almost looks like some different dragon bones. The armor itself definitely has a plate feel behind it, giving you kind of a weird demonic knightly feel because you're like a knight, but you're instead of a knight in shining armor, you're a knight in just different dragon bones. All around definitely has a pretty cool feel behind it though. It is definitely an evil armor. It also includes a different weapon which just kind of goes along with the theme of the armor. All around it has pretty good protection stats, definitely on the higher end of things. You're going to only want to be using this if you're in the later game of Skyrim. The armor itself is pretty high quality and all around just pretty cool looking. Up next, we do have Immersive Patrol. So this is a mod that's been out for quite a while now on PC, but only just now was ported over to Xbox One. What this mod adds in is a bunch of fully functional patrols for all the major factions in Skyrim. So that's going to be the Stormcloaks, Thalmor, Imperials, Dawn Guards, Caravans, and even some different guards for some of the lesser known kind of little towns. You're going to find these traveling around in little groups around some of the major cities and some of the different forts. On top of that, sometimes they'll actually get into fights with other patrols. So sometimes there'll be fort defenses and stuff like that going on. At certain forts, there are just flat out predetermined large battles, so when you go there, you'll find two factions just fighting to the death, which I really like because sometimes you just want to go in Skyrim and kill shit with your armor, and I think this is a great mod to do that. On top of that, if you actually just spend a lot of time traveling around, and maybe you're not a huge fan of using fast travel, even when you're just walking up to some of the normal cities, seeing some of these patrols walking out or meeting back up in the city is very cool. All around, there's just much more of a presence of some of the different troops, which maybe wasn't appropriate for the vanilla Skyrim due to the hardware limitations at the time, but now with the new generation and Skyrim Special Edition, it definitely is very fitting and all around makes the game just feel and look a lot cooler. So up next we have Scoped Bows SE. This is actually a really cool mod. Basically it does two different things. One, adds in a bunch of different scopes for some of the vanilla bows in Skyrim. It's kind of self-explanatory now. When you have the bow and you aim down or start pulling it trying to fire an arrow, you're going to have an option to look down some of these different scopes, and it makes it a lot easier when actually target finding, especially if you play without your HUD on or just some of the different immersive HUD options, which I think make the game look much nicer and much sharper. Now you do have a very nice and clear reticle. On top of that, it actually adds in a few new bows with scopes, which again look very cool. When you're installing the mod, you do have a few different options as to which color you want those reticles to be, so you could be blue, black, etc, etc. I actually was surprised by how much I liked this mod. I didn't love using bows previously, and I didn't think this mod would really change that, but actually with the addition of some of these scopes, it did make me have a ton more fun using bows. I wanted to kind of try and see how far I could shoot people, and all around it actually made a much larger improvement than I originally thought it would. It definitely is a very cool mod, and I really like that you have the option to use them on some of the vanilla bows. You have to craft them, and you won't just kind of have all your bows having scopes on them, which is really nice to see. All around a very cool mod, and definitely one I was surprised by just simply how high quality it was and how much I enjoyed using it. So next up we have the Hessian Sword. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Hasaan. Regardless, it's going to add in this very high quality and actually pretty cool sword into the game. I really like the hilt of this sword. I think it makes it much cooler than some of the other swords out there. It kind of has a snake or dragon on it. I'm not really sure which one, but all around just looks very cool and has some nice styling to it. Unfortunately, the texture quality of this isn't the highest quality, but when you're actually using the sword in first person and moving around with it, you can't really notice it at all. You only really notice it when you're looking closely at the sword. Regardless, again, I really like the theme and feel of the sword. I think it's a little bit more unique than some of the other swords out there, enough so it doesn't feel like your typical broadsword or just silver or steel sword like Skyrim has so many of. It stands out enough that it is kind of cool and unique, and you definitely know you're using a mod, but not too much where it feels like you're totally using a gun or weapon that doesn't fit into the game at all. So last but certainly not least, we have Blackthorn. This is actually a really cool mod. Basically, it's going to add in this town that you can build little pieces in, and more or less when you first go there, it's going to be very run down. There's a little bit of a backstory about how it was destroyed, and then just using some of your money, you can actually build up a ton of different buildings, and then with each of those buildings, you could actually build additional things inside. So whether that be furniture, or in some of the different guard posts, you could actually have guards walk around. Personally, I love these types of things in different games. This is going to allow you to really build up a town the way you want to, and give you a money pit and time pit to kind of just occupy you as you're playing Skyrim. I did put this in a video a while ago, but it was actually removed for like the past month, and it only finally was just put back up. All around, it's a very cool mod. Again, it's not going to be for everyone. Not everyone's going to like having to build up their own town, and they're just going to want to have one flat out done for them. But personally, that's something I really enjoy doing, and I really like some of the customizability this town does have to offer. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for this episode of 5 cool mods. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys did watch to this point in the video, comment tissues down below. As always, thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed again, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.